Hello and welcome back to Mac at the Movies. Throughout this month of October, I'm going to be reviewing for you all sorts of horror and Halloween inspired films. And so today I will be reviewing for you the film Lost After Dark. This film was released August 21st, 2015 by Anchor Bay Films and directed by Ian Kestner. This is his first directorial debut. He had done some short films prior to this, but this is his first full-length film, and I don't think he's done much since this film, but this is a fantastic, just hidden horror gem, and I absolutely love it. It stars Robert Patrick, who we all know as the T-1000 from T2, and he gets, peppered in things here and there. I mean, he's, people remember him from other stuff, but it's always T2 that pops into my head. That and Wayne's World too, for the exact same reason. But this film stars Eve Harlow, Sarah Fisher, David Lipper, Kendra Timmons, Jesse Camacho, Stephen James, and Alexander Calvert. This film is shot to look like an old 80s film that had been run through the projector 1,000 times. Has the burn marks, has a missing reel, the whole thing. So it's a lot of fun just added to the film with that alone. It has the vibe of an 80s horror movie in a sense, but does not necessarily feel like they got a lot accurate with some of the aesthetics, and the wardrobe seemed a bit off in some places. It did not seem like it fit for the 80s, but it's still a lot of fun. This film is based around 8 kids who go off to a school dance, but while they're at the dance, they all sneak off, steal a school bus, and decide to take a weekend trip to a cabin in the woods. When they get out there, the bus breaks down. They run out of gas and find themselves in this abandoned farmhouse. When they're trying to look for somewhere to go or look for someone to help, they find an abandoned farmhouse and they go to that. But as in most horror films, the abandoned farmhouse isn't typically the place you want to go. They start to notice some things that they're fixtures made out of skulls or other human body parts, very, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like Ed Gein with all that. But the kids end up getting trapped out here and stalked by a local. The only thing I can guess is that he's just some backwoods inbred farm boy, killer, hacker, slasher guy. But that's more or less what they're sort of stalked after, or stalked by. But during all this, Robert Patrick is on a mission. He plays a teacher, Mr. C, or a principal. He's something to do with the school, but he goes after them, and he takes the first stop at one of the kids' homes, and the father's there, and he tells the father everything that had sort of happened. And that's when we start to realize that the key for the cabin's missing, and all this fun, it's all, well, not fun stuff. I'm sure the dad was completely freaked out, and if I had a kid and that happened, I'd be freaked out. But they don't get the cops involved at all up until this point. It's literally the teacher and the dad, and they do it separately. The best part is when they realize what had happened, the dad's like, I think I know where they went. And Robert Patrick, my favorite line in the entire movie, is he looks at the dad and goes, what are their coordinates? I laugh every time because it just seems like such a bizarre thing to ask, like who's going to have the coordinates for something. And back then, even in the 90s, it's not like we had GPS where you just plug coordinates in, or do whatever you need to do and plug them in, or look it up on the internet. So it just seems bizarre and makes me laugh every time. But between that and he has like, I guess I don't know cars very well, but I think it's like an old Pontiac, like T-top convertible type deal. And every time you see him driving up somewhere, he's like blasting disco music or some disco-like music. And it's not fitting the role. And like he comes out and he's always talking about like how, he handled the Viet Cong, or, always something about Nam. At one point in time, he references the Nam. So I'd never heard it referenced that way before, but I thought that was kind of funny. But I mean, he's such the macho guy in this movie. And it's kind of funny when he does encounter that backwoods hillbilly, like what happens. Again, it's a fun movie. One thing I will say is things don't, like, that the outcomes aren't what you think they would be. From like the first kill on, you're just like, what did they do here? Did they just say who are we killing first, and they just threw a handful of names up in the air and whatever landed on the ground first? Or I don't know, like whichever one landed card faced up, like that's the one they decided to kill, because it does not fit the horror movie, like the criteria of like, what you would get as like a final girl in a sense. Yeah, a lot of it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up with what of horror, if you're a big horror fan. So just throw all those rules out the window and just enjoy the ride, because it's a lot of fun. It's they're lost in the woods, going on an adventure, this whole deal. So if anyone out there has seen it, definitely throw down in the comments below what you thought. If I had to rate this movie 1 out of 5, I'd have to give it 4 stars out of 5. It is a fantastic film. I absolutely love it. I watch it every year. I recommend it as often as I can when I talk to somebody about horror, because it's such a hidden gem, and you don't, I don't know, it's just, you think around Halloween you're gonna watch all the big ones, your Jasons, your Freddys, your Michaels, and then little things like this, of course you're gonna get into like the Howling or the Fog or the Lost Boys, something. But you don't think about a movie like this, and it's a lot of fun, and it really kind of plays up, especially with the Halloween spirit and this time of the year. So I definitely recommend it to everyone out there. Check it out. It's such a fun film. And again, if you've seen it, jot down in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you think it was just stupid and kitschy? What did you think about it? If you saw it, what did you think of Robert Patrick's, like his character in the film? I absolutely thought he was hilarious. He was just so overbearing in a sense. He really did like play up that hard-ass teacher kind of role, but in a very corny way at times. So definitely jot that down in the comments below what you thought of this film. If you liked the review, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Do whatever you want to do. But thank you for stopping by, and as always, be kind to one another, and I'll see you next time. Bye.